When Canada imposed tariffs on Chinese electric cars last week, trade experts predicted some sort of retaliation. Today, China announced an anti-dumping investigation into Canadian canola imports. The CBC's Kate McKenna joins me now live from Ottawa. So, Kate, what more can you tell us about China's latest move?
Well, a spokesperson for China's Ministry of Commerce was asked about these new Canadian tariffs that are coming in October and basically responded by saying that it was launching a probe into anti-dumping in the canola industry, as well as in some Canadian chemicals that are exported to China as well. And they were very clear that there's a direct line between the EV tariffs that are being imposed and this potential probe into canola that is happening now. China imports more oilseed than any other country. Most of its imports of canola come from Canada, to the tune of about $5 billion worth of canola products to China last year alone. So the Chinese spokesperson did draw that direct link, and specifically Canada's decision to match the U.S. tariffs came last week at a federal cabinet meeting in Halifax. There will be a 25% tariff on imported steel and aluminum and a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. At the time, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland was asked, what will you do if China responds in a sort of tit-for-tat way? Freeland kind of brushed it off, saying, they need to take these steps to protect Canadian jobs. We heard a very similar response from Employment Minister Randy Boissonnault earlier today.
It is important for countries that have different labor standards than China, that actually respect human rights, that actually cannot just simply subsidize entire companies for 15 or 20 years so they can get down to $10,000 cars. We have to make sure that the industries that we build in this country have the ability to get off their feet. That's exactly what we're going to be doing.
So right now it is just a probe into alleged anti-dumping measures of canola in Canada. However, he went on to say that in the event that something more concrete happens, if China suspends or puts tariffs on canola imports from Canada, there are programs in place for farmers so that they're not hit in a devastating way by those measures.
And Kate, this is not the first time China has looked at restricting Canadian canola. They suspended 2 Canadian canola exporters back in 2019. So how does this move now compare to then?
Well, it's interesting because in both cases, it was a sort of a diplomatic dispute that kind of led to that change. In that case, we remember the 2 Michaels were detained in China. Here in Canada, Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou was arrested or detained rather, and China was unhappy with that. And then that suspension on the 2 exporters came soon after. Today, though, China once again not announcing a ban or anything concrete in that way. So it is different in that way. Industry groups at the time estimated that Canadian farmers lost billions of dollars because of that suspension at that time. So of course, this is something that we'll continue to track, especially if China kind of moves to add tariffs or implement something more concrete in the coming weeks. But they say that they plan on acting in the interest of Chinese businesses and that is their right.
Kate, thank you. The CBC's Kate McKenna live in Ottawa.